Good morning, everyone, and my name is Maia Carrera. Today we are going to be learning about tissues in dicot and monocot stems. So let me go and share the screen real quick. All right, here we go. So as you can see, we have two different cells, left and right, and I'm going to tell you the difference between the two, which one is which, and how you can tell which one's the dicot and the monocot. So here on the left, we have our dicot cell, stem cell, and on the right, we have our monocot stem cell. Now you can usually tell which one is the monocot versus which one is the dicot because of how the cell is shaped. As you can see on the right, the monocot cell has these tiny little dots all over, and they're usually throughout the entirety of the cell. While on the left, we only see these little large dots in one area around the cell. Now, in everyday life, you're going to actually be able to tell the difference between the dicot and the monocot through the way that their leaves are shaped, how many flowers they have, and if you look through a scope, you're going to be able to tell through the embryo as well as you can see here, the shape of the stem cells. So continuing on, we're going to go into dicot. As you can see here, this is the dicot cell, and I zoomed in the image in order to help determine the difference between each part of the cell. So on the outer ring, we have the epidermis, and then going out in, we have the cortex, and then we have the phloem, vascular cambium, the xylem, and then the pith. And the phloem and the xylem are connected through the vascular bundle, which is circled here in order to help tell the difference between the phloem and the xylem. They have been pointed out while the vascular bundle has been combined, so it gets an easier image. And then in the middle is the pith. So you might be wondering, well, what are the functions of all of these? Why are they important? Well, the epidermis allows the first ring of growth for the plant, and the cortex actually allows the second growth, which is another difference between dicot and monocot. Dicot meaning with di meaning two, has a secondary growth, while monocot, which has the word mono in it, represents one, so it only has one form of growth. So the pith here doesn't exactly have too much of a function except to hold nutrients, but the xylem and the phloem are actually incredibly important. Within the vascular bundle, they actually maintain a lot of the nutrients, and they allow transportation of nutrients throughout the entire cell and essentially throughout the entire plant. So the xylem, it goes and transports water or water-soluble nutrients, while the phloem will go and transport any other type of nutrients like sugars. And without these two, the plant would essentially end up dying. If a vascular bundle is damaged, the other vascular bundles will be pushed into work so that there can be enough sugar and water throughout the entire plant. The vascular cambium allows a divide between the phloem and the xylem and essentially works as a transportation. Think of it like a highway. It allows those specific nutrients to go and travel around and get to the spots where they need to be. And on our second slide, we have the monocot. As stated before, mono meaning one, so it only has one layer of growth, as you can see here with just the single layer of the epidermis. So here, there's not as much items to be pointed out because the monocot isn't, the the monocot doesn't grow anything too complicated. So here we have the vascular bundles, as you can see, with the several different dots. And then hopefully you can see this, that small little lump right there. Now that's the primary xylem. And then this area up top right there, that is the primary phloem. And then within is the cortex. In the monocot, there is no pith, and this is because it does not need to go and hold any of the nutrients, as the vascular bundles being spread throughout the cell allow for the nutrients to get to where they need to be. And if some of the excuse me, and if some of the vascular bundles are destroyed or removed, there are still enough left within the cell so that transportation can occur. Of course, if there's a major amount of vascular bundles that have been damaged, then that means that the cell will go and slowly die, eventually causing the plant to die. Now, interesting enough, this may go off onto a tangent slightly. When a situation like this were to happen, and there's a mass amount of vascular bundles removed, there is a process like this done called girdling, and it's typically done for, let's say, apple trees or orange trees, those type of things. And the girdling will actually allow the plant to grow sweeter and bigger fruit. And this is because it traps the xylem and the phloem into only sending nutrients into those parts of the tree. And so through this, the fruits end up getting much more nutrients, sugars, water, so that they can grow better, and they end up tasting much better as well because of this process. That's all I have for the difference between the dicot and the monocot and their functions. If you have any questions, just let me know, and I hope you all have a wonderful day. Thank you so much.